हरे कृष्ण। ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णकृष्णाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामी नमस्ते सारस्वते देवी गौरवाणि विचारिणि निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणि जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे कृष्ण. This is a very nice chapter. Dhruva Maharaj is going to home, and we'll try to discuss some things. Here, what important we should understand is Bhagavatam has some lessons for us to understand. Like in the previous chapter, it is very simple to understand. First, just told about different uh, different aspects of how the sons of Brahma are explained, which is the cause of bondage in this material world. By knowing it, we can be free from it. Then comes Dhruva Maharaj trying to sit on the lap of his father, and his stepmother chastises him, insults him. And then when he comes to his mother, the instructions of Suniti are very important for us. And after that, when Dhruva Maharaj want to go to forest, Narada Muni is trying to discourage him. There also the instructions are very important, because we have Gunadika Mudam Lipse Anukroshat Gunadaman Maitrim Samadhan Viche Natapera Vibhuyate. So we have very nice instructions by Narada Muni. In general, that are very important. Then he gives a devotional instructions. He says, okay, this is what you should do. This is how you should serve the Lord. So he gives initiation in that way by mantra and all. And after that, Dhruva Maharaj, he performs. Of course, then Narada Muni goes to Uttanapada and try to pacify him. Then Dhruva Maharaj is performing his austerities. And then the last section is where, because of Dhruva Maharaj's austerities, the whole world, everybody is choked up. That is how the sequence went. Now we'll see that here the great sage Maitreya told Vidra, when the demigods were thus reassured by the Supreme, the personality of Godhead, they were freed from all fears, and after offering their obeisances, they returned to their heavenly planets. Then the Lord, who is non-different from the Sahasra Shirsha incarnation, got on the back of Garuda, who carried him to the Madhuvan forest to see his servant Dhruva. And here it is Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Prabhupada writes, although Lord appears as Kshirodaksha Vishnu, he had been described here as Sahasrashira because he is not different from Garbhodaksha Vishnu. And according to Srila Sanatan Goswami, in his Bhagavatamrita, the Sahasrashira personality of Godhead who appears at the time was the incarnation known as Prishnigarbha. So we hear about Prishnigarbha, like Lord incarnated in three forms. Sudapa and Prishni. That time it is Prishnigarbha. Then as as the Kashyapa and Aditi is Vamana, and then he appears as Lord Devaki and Vasudeva Krishna, like that. So this is Prishnigarbha. He created the planet known as Dhruvaloka for the habitation of Dhruv Maharaj. So this was specially created for Dhruv Maharaj to facilitate his desire. The Lord can create planets also. He wanted to give some pleasure to his devotees. So not a problem for him. स वै धिया योगविपाकतीव्रया हृत्पदं कोश सुहृतं तत्पदं प्रभं द्रोहितं सहस्वयमुपलक्षय बिभत्सितं तद् अवस्थं ददृशा The form of the Lord, which was brilliant like lightning, and which Dhruv Maharaj, in his mature yoga process, was fully absorbed in meditation, all of a sudden disappeared. Thus, Dhruva was perturbed and his meditation broke. But as soon as he opened his eyes, he saw the Supreme Personality of God personally present, just as been seen the Lord in the heart. So that means he was able to see the Lord in the heart also. He got that much amount of realization. And this is the process we all want to. One day we want to see the form of the Lord in our heart while chanting. And presently, our heart, because it is filled with so many bad impressions, it is not able to meditate. It is meditating on the worldly things. One important thing, na, more we are detached, more we can be happy. More we are detached from matter, more we can be happy. That is actually the process. And that is the what type of happiness we try to get. People, they want to get a happiness by being attached to this material world. The happiness is in attachment also, the happiness is in detachment also. But the happiness in detachment, attachment causes pain eventually. But the pleasure in detachment does not cause any pain. That is real happiness in one level. And but our detachment is because we are attached to Krishna, automatically there is detachment. Because we see things connected to Krishna, that type of detachment is safe, not like the impersonalist detachment. Why all this detachment? So we see, okay, all these things belong to Krishna. I am for some time, and if Krishna want, he will take away. If Krishna want to give, he will give more. But ultimately, it is Krishna's. But this type of detachment will help us to meditate very nicely. Otherwise, the distractions which are coming when we are meditating is because of our attachments only. Our attachments are because of our false ego. Wrongly identifying ourselves or getting connected to the objects here. So the degree we are having our false ego, to the degree we get pleasure and pain both. But this is pleasure and pain of this material world. But if we are detached, our ahankara is getting disconnected, then it becomes very easy. And that is actually what we have to try to achieve. And then meditation is very easy. So Dhruva was happily able to meditate. Because of his, so here, because of his mature position in yogic meditation, Dhruva was constantly absorbing the form of personality of Godhead within his heart. But all of a sudden, when the Supreme Personality disappeared, uh, he thought that he had lost him. Dhruva was perturbed, but upon opening his eyes and breaking his meditation, he saw the form of the Lord in front of him. And Prabhupada is telling that Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena, we can see with love. So this Shyam Sundar form of Lord within the heart of a devotee is not imaginary. When a devotee becomes mature in his prosecution of devotional service, he sees face to face the same Shyam Sundara he has thought of during the entire course of his devotional service. Since the Supreme Lord is absolute, the form within the heart of a devotee, the form in the temple, and the original form in Vaikuntha, Vrindavandam, are all the same. They are non-different. So this is the instruction Prabhupada is giving us. And then the next text says that when Dhruva Maharaj saw his lord just in front of him, he was greatly agitated and offered him obeisances and respect. He fell flat before him like a rod and became absorbed in love of Godhead. Dhruva Maharaj, in ecstasy, looked upon the Lord as if he were drinking the Lord with his eyes, kissing the lotus feet of the Lord with his mouth, and embracing the Lord with his arms. And Prabhupada is telling that Dhruva Maharaj were very much agitated in awe and respect, and appeared as if he were drinking the entire body of the Lord with his eyes. The Lord, the devotee's love for the Supreme Personality of God is so intense that you want to kiss the lotus feet of Lord constantly, and you want to touch the lips of the toes of Lord and constantly embrace his feet. All these features of Dhruva Maharaj's bodily expressions indicate that upon seeing the Lord face to face, he developed the 8 kinds of transcendental ecstasy. Actually, even the demigods also they get darshan of Lord, but they don't feel so much. Indra is not feeling such ecstasy. But Dhruva is feeling because he developed the love. That is the difference. Even Duryodhana also saw the Lord, but you want to bind him and kill him. So it's not that anybody who sees the Lord immediately he will get such symptoms. For us also, we also will not get symptoms if we did not develop love. That's why sadhana is very important. Say suddenly if Krishna comes to our house and says, I will live in your house, it will be very difficult for us to handle him because he needs full attention and we cannot pay. We have so many things to do ourselves. We'll say, my dear Krishna, I have my family, children, husband, wife, and what can I do for you? You just stay for some time and then even some guest comes to our house also we expect. For some days it is okay. Even our own spiritual master comes 3, 4, 5 days is okay. After that, then somebody will say, Maharaj, there are so many other disciples of yours. Why don't you give opportunity for them also to serve you? Same thing we will tell to Krishna also. We are not having that feeling in the heart. That's why Lord is not appearing. And we discuss this also. Lord is proportionate to love. To the degree we have love, that form of Lord will appear. Here people are atheistic. They don't want to, they don't believe in Lord only. So Lord says, okay, fine with me. I will also not appear. So the point is that we are able to see the Lord and to experience that we should have that practice very nicely. It's not that Lord is not appearing. He said, even if I appear also, you cannot do anything. That's why Lord is telling, first you do sadhana, purify the heart, develop that feelings. And then Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, then Lord says, okay, then now I'll appear. Because you know how to deal with me like that. So here also, although Dhruva was very small, was a small, but he wanted to offer prayers to the Supreme Personality of God in a suitable language. But because he was inexperienced, he could not adjust himself immediately. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, being situated in everyone's heart, could understand Dhruva Maharaj's awkward position. Out of his causeless mercy, he touched his conch shell to the forehead of Dhruva, who stood before him with folded hands. And Prabhupada is writing very nice purport. Every devotee wants to chant the transcendental qualities of the Lord. Devotees are always interested in hearing about the Lord's transcendental qualities and they are always eager to glorify these qualities, but sometimes they feel inconvenienced by humbleness. The Supreme Personality of God is situated in everyone's heart, specifically gives a devotee intelligence to describe him. It is therefore understood that when a devotee writes or speaks about the Supreme Personality of God, his words are dictated by the Lord from within. So Prabhupada is telling he is not writing this purport, they are all dictated by Krishna only. This is what Prabhupada wanted to make a point. His words are dictated by the Lord from within. So Lord dictates. Right. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 10th chapter. To those who constantly engage in transcendental loving service of the Lord from within dictates what to do next in order to serve him. When Dhruva Maharaj felt hesitated, not knowing how to describe the Lord for want of sufficient experience, the Lord, out of his causeless mercy, touched his conch shell to Dhruva's forehead and he was transcendentally inspired. This transcendental inspiration is called Brahma Maya because when one is thus inspired, the sound he produces exactly correspond to the sound of vibration of the Vedas. So this is called Brahma Vak or Brahma Jnana. So this is so whatever Dhruva is speaking, it became Brahma Vak. That means it became Veda. Dhruva is speaking Vedas directly. What happens is that when sages they go into meditation, they do so much meditation that they get access to the original Vedas. The sound vibration of Vedas is there in the ether all the time. So no need worry that we are losing Vedic Vedas. Vedas are burnt. They cannot be destroyed actually because Vedas are they are eternal also. The Apausha also eternal also. Now what happens if anybody is very serious that they want to bring back Vedas? Yeah, very simple formula. Sit and do meditation, fully focus. We get access to the original Vedas that are there in the ether. We can hear them and you speak them. And then it comes Vedavak or Brahmavak. So that's why whatever sages they speak, that becomes Vedas because they are just directly seeing the Vedas and then they are speaking it. Brahma speaks it called Brahmavak or Vedavak. Like in previous times, there used to be disputes in the villages and all, and then they used to have a gathering of big people, elderly people of the village, and they used to sit under a tree and then they used to settle the disputes. And that time somebody is upset, na, they will say, "Arey, what do you think you are speaking Vedavak or Brahmavak or what?" That means they say that how can you say that you are speaking is exactly correct? If some says, everybody why they used to follow? Because they know it is Brahmavak. It is just directly they are seeing the truth and speaking, just we have to follow like them. So that comes when you are in great meditation. So Vedas cannot be lost. Only thing is we don't have access for it, that's all. And because the sages, why we have, there is Deva Rishi Bhuta Trinam Pitrinam. So Deva Rishi. Even sages also we have Runa. We are indebted to the sages. Devatas we understand. They give fire, air, water and all rain. But what about sages? Why we are indebted? Because they have done so much austerities, got access to the Vedas, they are revealing to the people, and because of which we are able to get some guidance in our life what to do. Like no, we need all this Vedic guidance, all this Manusamhita, this that, they're all proper guidelines. Like they all preserved this Mahabharata, Ramayana, Bhagavatam. It is all preserved by sages, right? Sukadeva Goswami gave us Bhagavatam and Mahabharata, Vyasdev. So they all went into trance, meditated, got access. Before that, it is Vedas also. That's why we are indebted because of their guidance through the Shastras and they have performed the austerities. So here also Brahmavak is Brahmamaya. It is sound vibration directly from the Vedas. This is not an ordinary sound vibration of this material world. Therefore, the sound vibration of Hare Krishna mantra, although presented in the ordinary alphabet, should not be taken as a mundane or material. It is directly coming Golokera Premadana Harinama Sankirtana, directly coming from the Goloka. So, Vedavak. So, whatever Dhruva is going to speak is Vedavak. He is speaking because he got that access. स वै तदैव प्रतिपादिताङ्गिरं दैवीं प्रजानाथ पथा परात्मनिर्णय तं भक्तिभावो भयग्निनाथ सत्वरं परिश्रुतोरु श्रवणं ध्रुवकृतः. At that time, Dhruva Maharaj became perfectly aware of the Vedic conclusion. So just by Lord's touching the conch, he got full knowledge of the Vedas and understood the absolute truth and his relationship with all living entities. So Dhruva, he didn't had any of this knowledge. He just was following the instructions of Narada Muni. They said, you meditate, Lord will come. Now, all the attributes of the Lord, what is the absolute truth, all these things is not known because he didn't study. He only knows I should approach this person called Narayana, he will take care of me. And he went to Lord. That's why even if you go with Akama, Sarvakama, Moksha Kama, Udhari, Tivrena Bhakti Yoga Nejatam, even if you have material desires and somebody says, Arey, what I have so many material, don't worry, there is a person called Krishna, go to him, he will take care. And how to go to him? Take this mala, chant, meditate on him, then you will reach him. And Dhruva did like that. And then once he got the Lord, everything came to him. So first, so what Dhruva understood? First of all, the relationship between absolute truth and the relative material and spiritual energies is here understood by a student was complete knowledge of the Vedic literature. So this is also what we are also trying to study. Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojana. Dhruva Maharaj never went to any school or academic teacher to learn the Vedic conclusion, but because of his devotional service to the Lord, as soon as the Lord appears and touched his forehead with his conch shell, automatically the entire Vedic conclusions was revealed to him. Now, this is actually what happens to many of them. Just they just sit and they start serving the Lord, everything is revealed. Now we may also say, bro, then why we should sit and so much read and all these things? We can also just serve the Lord, chant the name. Actually, we can do that. But what happens is somebody has some intellectual and complicated minds because of modern education. For them, it is needed to logically understand because we are trained in that way. So logically also understand. Of course, normally also, this is also one type of service which is needed for some type of living entities, some type of taste. Like not everybody will sit and try to understand so technically Bhagavatam. They are interested in chanting the holy name and they say we'll do little service to the Lord and we chant the holy name. They will also get the whole conclusion of the Vedic scriptures. They will also understand everything. that is the interesting thing in bhakti. Like we may see, array, we know so many shlokas and we know so many shlokas, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and very interesting and new nuances and complicated things from Bhagavatam we know. And we have some very senior Prabhupada disciple, he's a sannyasi guru. He may be speaking very simple things and he may not know all the technical details of Bhagavatam. But he has full realizations. Why? Because he just practiced bhakti. So it's not that you have to read that. For us, it is needed because we are already into some, we have this type of inclination. For us, it is very much needed. We should do like that. So, and realization, everybody will get the same thing if they are practicing bhakti. It's not that only who are reading like this will get. No, others will also get. So it says bhakti is that's it's very subtle thing. It's not very gross. How many shlokas you know will prove that how much advanced you are. No. We may write commentaries and Bhagavatam also. And somebody may be simply chanting the holy name. Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj or Gaur Kishore Das Babaji. But they can be very exalted. So we have to know the difference very clearly. That Dhruva Maharaj did not read any Shastras, but he got the conclusions. How? That's all. Bhakti is like that. That is the process of understanding Vedic literature. One cannot understand it simply by academic learning. You see, one cannot understand by academic learning. The Vedas indicate that only one who has unflinching faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead as well as spiritual master is the Vedic conclusions revealed. That's all. The example of Dhruva is that he engaged himself in devotional service to Lord according to the order of his spiritual master. As a result of his rendering such devotional service with great determination and austerity, the personality of God had manifests himself before him. Dhruva was only a child. He wanted to offer nice prayers to Lord, but because he lacked sufficient knowledge, he hesitated. But by the mercy of Lord, as soon as the Lord's conch touched his forehead, he became completely aware of the Vedic conclusions. That conclusions is based on proper understanding of different between Jiva and Paramatma, the individual soul, super soul. All these things, differences, Dhruva may not be knowing very clearly. But because he performed devotional service, Lord says, don't worry, I will give all the knowledge to you. The individual soul is uh, Dhruva Maharaj offered his prayers to Lord not in a way of the impersonalist philosopher, but as a devotee. So this is so Dhruva Maharaj wanted to have a kingdom of his father, but his father refused even to allow him to get on his lap. In order to fulfill his desire, the Lord has already created a planet known as Polestar, Dhruvaloka, which was never to be annihilated even at the time of dissolution of the universe. Dhruva Maharaj attained this perfection not by acting hastily, but by patiently executing the order of his spiritual master. Therefore, he became so successful that he saw the Lord face to face. Now he was further enabled by the causeless mercy of Lord to offer fitting prayers to the Lord. Glorify or offer praise to the Supreme. One need the Lord's mercy. One cannot write to glorify the Lord unless one is endowed with his causeless mercy. So this is Prabhupada is telling Prabhupada got this causeless mercy. That's why he is able to write. So like that Vedic conclusions cannot be understood by academic learning. Can't be academic. So this is the important point of this work. And now from here onwards, Dhruva is going to offer prayers. ध्रुवोवाच ओन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाङ्मयं प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्य किल शक्तिधरः स्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणं त्वगादन् प्राणं नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्. Dhruva Maharaj said, my dear Lord, you are all powerful. After entering within me, you have enlivened all my sleeping senses. My hands, legs, ears, touch sensation, life force, and especially my power of speech. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you. So this is what happens. Everything got enlivened. After you enter with me, you have enlivened all my sleeping senses. And then that is actually what should happen when we get enlightened. The Maharaj could understand very easily the difference between his condition before and after attaining spiritual realization and seeing the Supreme Personality of God at face to face. He could understand that his life force and activities have been sleeping. Unless one comes to the spiritual platform, his bodily limbs, mind, and other faculties within the body are understood to be sleeping. So for us also they are sleeping. To the degree we are spiritual advanced, to the degree they are opening up. And we can see the reality. Some people are so dull, they cannot understand only some things. Like I was I was telling this, we were discussing in our corporate Bhagavad Gita classes. I told, I was explaining about non-veg and all. So one boy said, Prabhuji, I told to one of my colleagues, I know that the egg is a menstrual fluid of a hen. And I thought that girl who is listening, my colleague, she will be disgusted and she will stop eating egg because I told the reality. Instead, he said that she told, oh, still it is very tasty, na? So I was thinking, he said, Broji, I was like completely. So the point is they're so dull, so dull. They don't know what they're eating. They don't know what they are doing. It is completely in full ignorance. But uh, when comes to his senses, they are all sleeping. He could understand his life force and activities have been sleeping. Unless one comes to the spiritual platform, his body, limbs, mind, and other faculties in the body are understood So all his activities are taken as a dead man's activity or ghostly activities. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has composed a song in which he addressed himself. O living entity, get up. How long shall you sleep on the lap of Maya? Sorry. Yeah. Kota Nidra Jago Maya, Pishachira Koli. You are sleeping on the lap of Maya. Now you have opportunity to progress on the human form of life. Now try to get up and realize yourself. The Vedas also declare, get up, get up. You have opportunity, the boon of human form of life. Now realize yourself. These are Vedic injunctions. And Dhruva Maharaj actually experienced that upon enlightenment of his senses on the spiritual platform, he could understand the essence of Vedic instructions. So these are the Vedic injunctions. Dhruva Maharaj actually experienced enlightenment of his senses. Dhruva Maharaj could immediately understand the fact. He was aware that for a long time he was practically sleeping, and he felt impetus to glorify the Lord according to the Vedic conclusions. When Dhruva Maharaj therefore found this difference within himself, he could immediately understand that it was because of the causeless mercy of the Lord, and then he offered his prayers. And Prabhupada is writing that the word Swadhamna means by spiritual energy. Spiritual enlightenment is possible by the mercy of the spiritual energy of the Lord. The chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra is first addressed to the spiritual energy of Lord Hare. This spiritual energy acts when a living entity fully surrenders and accepts his position as an eternal servitor. So for us also, Daiviyesha Gunam, sorry, Mahatma Namstu Mam Partha, Daivim Prakriti Mashtra. So we are all by mercy of Srimati Radharani. When a person places himself at the disposal of or the order of the Supreme Lord, that is called Sevon Mukha. At that time, the spiritual energy gradually reveals the Lord to him. And Prabhupada said, without revelation of spiritual energy, one is unable to offer prayers glorifying the Lord. So now all these people who write some devotional songs, no, it does not have any sense only. They are all just material emotions. They are not spiritual emotions. They say, my dear Lord, please protect me, save me, you are this, you are that. But they don't have any love and spiritual emotions. Their senses are not purified. It's mundane only. So they may get some Sukriti, but it is not of any much value for us by hearing and singing them. Let's say we should hear from great acharyas or very uh, Braj songs are okay, Vrindavan songs, which are written in Braj. They are all great personalities. But outside mundane people, they write. And nowadays it is like in the movies and other way, we have some devotional songs which are very famous, but they are not much use. We should not just sing them because they don't have this emotions. Without revelation of spiritual energy, one is unable to offer prayers glorifying the Lord. Any amount of philosophical speculation or poetic expression by mundane persons is still considered to be actions and reactions of material energy. You see? So even though they are giving it's a material thing only. When he is actually enlivened by spiritual energy, all his senses becomes purified and he engages only in the service of God. At that time, hands, legs, ears, tongue, mind, genitals, everything engage in service of Lord. Such an enlightened devotee no longer has any material activity, nor has he any interest in being materially engaged. This process of purifying the senses and engaging them in the service of Lord is known as bhakti. In the beginning, the senses are engaged by the direction of the spiritual masters and shastras. And after realizing when the same senses are purified, the engagement continues. So initially, Prabhupada said difference is that in the beginning the senses are engaged in a mechanical way, but after realizing they are engaged in a spiritual understanding. So initially we need spiritual master to help us, guide us to engage in service of Lord. But eventually the senses becomes enlivened, and that's actually what should be our goal, to enliven the senses. Right. Touch of Lord. Such an important instruction for us. एकस्त्वमेव भगवन् इदमात्मसख्य मायाख्ययोर्गुण गुणया महदाद्यशेषम् सृष्ट्वान्वस्य पुरुषस्तदसद्गुणेषु नानेव दासु दारुषु विभावसु विभाव विभासि. My Lord, you are the Supreme One, but by your different energies, you appear differently in the spiritual and material worlds. You create the total energy of the material world by your external potency, and after creating your entire, you enter within the material world as a super soul. You are the supreme personality of Godhead. Through the temporary modes of nature, you create varieties of manifestation, just as fire enters into wood by of different shapes, burns brilliantly in different varieties. It's a very nice analogy. So here we hear the same prayers. Bhagavatam it said Shrutena Arthera Cha Anjasa. If you remember this shloka, Atra Sarga Visargasya Sthanam Poshanamudaya Manvantarishanakata Nirodha Muktirashraya and Dashamasya Vishuddhanam Navanam Ihalakshanam Varnayanti Mahatmanam Shrutena Arthena Cha Anjasa. Shrutena and Arthena. So it is by prayers and the pastimes. That's how we understand the Lord. So this way, every now and then we have prayers about the Lord, glorifying the Lord, praying for the Lord. And every canto, Brahma is definitely offering prayers. We have everywhere there is Brahma's prayers all over Bhagavatam. Why? That is the only way we can understand. So this is what Dhruva is seeing. It is his realization direct. And when we hear, it will also touch our heart. So he is saying that Lord is actually creating and is entering into this creation as a super soul. And through the temporary modes of metallurgy, he gets varieties of manifestation, just as fire entering into wood, or different shapes burns brilliantly in different varieties. And Prabhupada writing, Dhruva Maharaj realized the supreme absolute truth that he acts through different energies, not that he becomes void or impersonalist. So Prabhupada is writing again and again this point. The identity of Supreme Personality God is feature of Paramatma. He enters. And that's how the energy comes in all the living entities. Vishnu Shakti Paraprokta, the energy enters. Then only everything operates. That is the first realization of Dhruva Maharaj. And all many prayers you have this common thing. My dear Lord, you created it, you are aloof from it, you entered into it as Paramatma. This realization everybody gets. That's why in all the prayers we have this these statements. Anybody offers prayers, they say you are the creator, you are aloof from the creation, you enter the creation and you maintain it and you destroy it. O my master, Lord Brahma is fully surrendered unto you. In the beginning, you gave him knowledge, and thus he could see and understand the entire universe. Just as person awakened from sleep and visualizes immediate duties, you are the only shelter of all persons who desires liberation, and you are the friend of all who are distressed. How, therefore, can a learned person who are perfect, who has perfect knowledge, ever forget you? We should also get that realization that Lord is creating. Generally, that realization is not there. That's why so much pain comes in the heart. See, all the philosophy, what we are reading and all, na, we have only one question. What is the important question? Why am I suffering in this world? To get the answer, all these things we are doing. We want to do bhakti, we are doing yoga, people going to hospitals, they want to do all this Kriya Yoga, stress management programs, these, that, any programs, any philosophical search, all the lakhs and lakhs of books, everything is only one question: how to get rid of the sufferings. I want to be happy. Somehow it won't work here. So I try to become happy, and how to get out of this suffering. That is who created this creation? Why did Lord create? Who created the Lord? Any number of questions we ask. Ultimately, the main question, the bottom line of it is, I want to enjoy, but why there is a problem? To get solution for this, everything is there around it. So that means, but when we come to this first conclusion that it is Lord who He is doing, then we'll get the answers for it. Then we'll not be bewildered. So this realization is not there. That's why we are so, the heart is painful so many times. This problem, that problem, one after another. Then we understand, okay, if the Lord wants in that way, let it be now. Why I should take so much anxiety? He knows what to do. Why I should be in anxiety? Presently, what I have to do, I will do it. That's all. Future, let him decide. Why I should be anxious about the future and why I should lament about the past. Right? So this realization comes, and then he's also understanding that Lord is surrendered, and he got Brahma surrendered, he got knowledge, and he could understand the entire universe. So that is because of Lord only. The Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be forgotten even for a moment by surrendered devotees. The devotee understand the Lord's causeless mercy is beyond his estimation. He cannot know how much he is benefited by the grace of Lord. The more a devotee engages himself in devotional service, the more encouragement is supplied by the energy of Lord. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord says that to those who are constantly engaged in devotional service, love and affection, the Supreme Personality of God gives him intelligence from within, and thus they may make further progress. Being so encouraged, the devotee can never forget at any moment the personality of God. He always feels obliged to him for having achieved increased power in devotional service by his grace. Then further, Guru Maharaj offered praise. He offered two prayers till now. Of course, three prayers. First, he said, my senses are enlivened. You are the creator, and Brahma surrendered unto you. He says that persons who worship you simply for sense gratification of this bag of skin are certainly influenced by your illusory energy. In spite of having you, who are like a desired tree and are the cause of liberation from birth and death, foolish persons such as me desire benediction from you for sense gratification, which is available even for those who live in hellish condition. So now he's condemning his own state. He glorified the Lord. So we have these three types of prayers: Sampratnatmika, Dainyabodhika, and Lalasamai. So first is you glorify the Lord, then you say that Dainyabodhika, then you say your fallen state, and then you Lalasamai, then you give your application. This is actually what I want. So like that, first he glorified the Lord. He said, I got enlightened, and two shlokas he glorified. Now he's telling, actually, I am like this foolish person. Why? I am trying to go for sense gratification for this bag of skin are certainly influenced by your illusory energy. So now I could have asked so much, but I am just asking for these things. That means he says that such a man desire benediction for you for sense gratification. It's available even for those who live in hellish conditions. So the sense gratification is available even in the hell also. That means on earthly planet where we are staying in the cities. So Dhruva Maharaj repented because he had come to the Lord to render devotional service for material profit. He here condemns his attitude. Only due to gross lack of knowledge does one worship the Lord for material profit or for sense gratification. The Lord is like a desire tree. Anyone can have whatever he desires from the Lord, but people in general do not know what kind of benediction they should ask from him. Happiness derived from the touch of skin or sensuous happiness is present in the life of a hog and dog. Such happiness is very insignificant. If a devotee worships the Lord for such insignificant happiness, he must be considered devoid of knowledge. So here Dhruva is lamenting, is condemning his position. So even Prahlad also says, "Oh, I am actually born in such asuric family. Brahmade Suranagana Muniyota Siddho Satvaikatana Vachisu Gatayo Vachasamra Naradi Purugane Adana Kim Toshtma Rahasame Harirugra Jati. I am born in a Ugra Jati." So this type of humility is there for devotees. या निवृतस्तनुभृतां तव पादपद्मा ध्यानाद् भवज्जनकथा श्रवणेन वा स्यात् सा ब्रह्मणि स्वमहिमन्यपि नातमाभू किं अन्तकासि लुलिता पततां विमानात्. My Lord, the transcendental bliss derived from meditating upon your lotus feet or hearing about your glories from pure devotee is so unlimited that it is far beyond the stage of Brahmananda, wherein one thinks himself merged in, in the impersonal Brahman as one with the Supreme. Such Brahmananda is also defeated by the transcendental bliss derived from devotional service. Then what to speak of temporary blissfulness of elevating oneself to the heavenly planets, which is the separate uh, ended by the separating sword of time. Although one may be elevated to the heavenly planets, he falls down in due course of time. This is such a nice shloka. He says that uh, the bliss derived, so what we have to derive the bliss from where? Meditating upon the lotus feet or hearing about the glories of the form of Lord. It is so unlimited. Far, first is he compares far beyond the stage of Brahmananda. This is the first comparison. And this, wherein one thinks himself merged in Brahmananda as one with the Supreme. Such Brahmananda is also defeated by transcendental bliss derived from devotional service. Then what to speak of temporary bliss of elevating to the heavenly planets? The heavenly planets are also useless, which is ended by separating sword of time. This is the most important. So we may say, okay, that there is pleasure in the heavenly planets. We don't deny. Brahmananda is eternal pleasure. It will not go away. But that is not very, it is very insignificant according to Dhruv Maharaj also. It is the pleasure which is derived from hearing the glories of is far beyond Brahmananda. And then he says that heavenly pleasure, na, even though it is very blissful, it is temporary. It is separating the sword of time. Although one may be elevated to heavenly planets, he falls down in due course of time. So that's why this shloka is very famous. Don't go to heaven also. People are so the transcendental bliss derived from devotional service, primarily from Shravanam Kirtanam, hearing and chanting, cannot be compared to happiness derived by karmis, by elevating themselves to heavenly planets, or by jnanis or yogis, who enjoy oneness with the Supreme Personal Brahman. Yogis generally uh, Yogis generally meditate upon the transcendental form of Lord Vishnu, but devotees not only meditate upon him, but actually engage in the direct service of the Lord. The Lord can give relief from birth and death. It is the misunderstanding to think, as do the Monis, that when one get relief from the process of birth and death, he marches into spring. So this is again and again, Prabhupada is so heavy. And Prabhupada is telling the process of karmis is still more degraded. Their aim is to elevate themselves to the higher planet systems. It is said, Yanti Deva Vrta Deva. They go there. Of course, they will come back also. Kankshante Punya Mrityu Lokam Vishanti. Kankshe Punya Mrityu Lokam Vishanti. This is from Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada says, as the modern astronomers who go to the moon or other heavenly planets are forced by force of jet propulsion have to come down again after exhausting their fuel. So also do those who elevate to the heavenly planets by force of yajna and pious activities. So Antikasi Luluta, by the sword of time, one is cut from this exalted portion within his material world. And he goes down again. Dhruv Maharaj appreciated that the result of devotional service was far more valuable than merging into the absolute or being elevated to the heavenly planets. Next shloka says, Bhaktim moho pravahatam vaime prasango bhuyadananta mahatam amalashayanam येनाञ्जसो अल्बनमुर्वसनं भवाब्धिं निश्ये भवद्गुणकथामृषपाणमत्त. So this is also very famous shloka. Dhruva Maharaj continued, O unlimited Lord, kindly bless me so that I may associate with great devotees who engage in your transcendental loving service constantly as the waves of water constantly flow. Such transcendental devotees are completely situated in an uncontaminated state of life. By the process of devotional service, I shall surely be able to cross the nascent ocean of material existence, which is filled with waves of blazing fire-like dangers. It is not very easy for me, for I am becoming mad by to hearing your transcendental qualities, past tense, which are excellently existing. So what he wanted to associate with devotees by that he could engage in devotion as the waves of river constantly flowing. And then he says that devotees are completely satisfied. And by this process, I can cross over material existence. That is very important, which is filled with waves of blazing fire-like dangers. And we have to be very careful. This is how we should that confidence is there. Tim muho pravahatam paime prasango bhuyadananda mahati mamalashayanam yenanjaso albanamuruvai vyasanam bhavabham nishye bhavat gudakatam vritapana. Prabhupada is writing, the significant point in Dhruv Maharaj's statement is that he wanted the association of pure devotees. The transcendental devotional system cannot be complete and cannot be reliable without the association of devotees. We have therefore established the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Anyone who is trying to be aloof from this Krishna Conscious Society and engaged in Krishna consciousness is living a great hallucination. But this is not possible for this statement by Dhruva Maharaj, it's clear that unless one is associated with the devotees, his devotional service does not mature. So this is instruction for us. It does not become distinct from material existence. The Lord says, Satam prasango mama virya samvido bhavanti karna rasayana. Only in the association of pure devotees can the words of Lord be fully potent and reliable to the heart and ear. Dhruva Maharaj explicitly wanted the association of devotees. The association of devotional activities is just like waves of an incessantly flowing river. In our Krishna conscious society, we have fully engaged 24 hours a day. Every moment of our time is always busy engaged in the service of Lord. This is called incessant flow of devotional service. So Prabhupada is trying to huge purpose this is. Dhruv Maharaj's answer is so the Mayavadi philosopher may question. You may be very happy in the association of devotees. Then what is your say that this ocean can be crossed very easy? Sorry, but but that is your plan of Mayavadi. Sorry, your plan of crossing the ocean of Italy. Dhruv Maharaj's answer is that it is not very difficult. He clearly says that I can come out of it. Bhavat Gunakata. For one who persistently engaged in hearing the topics of Lord from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam Chaitanya Charitamrita, who is actually addicted to this process, just as one becomes addicted to intoxication, it is very easy to cross the nuisance of material existence. The purport of this statement by Dhruv Maharaj is that devotional service in the association of devotees is the cause of the development of further devotional service. By developing devotional service, one elevated to the transcendental plane, Golok Vrindavan. There also there is only devotional service for the activities of devotional service, both in this world and in the spiritual world, are one and the same. So devotional service does not change. So that's all we are in our constitutional position. The difference is that one stage is impure, another is okay. Thank you all very much. Any questions, comments? Okay, we'll end here. Tarantara